My name is Nadia. I am 31 years old. I live in a small city with my parents and my younger brother. I work as an assistant in a local office. The job is not exciting, but it helps pay the bills. My life is simple. I wake up early. I go to work. I come home and help my family. My parents are good people. They worked hard all their lives. They always told me that family is the most important thing. I believe them. Since I was young, I learned to put others first. If my family needed something, I was there. If someone was unhappy, I tried to fix it. I did not complain. I did not ask for much. I told myself that this was love, that this was my duty. Sometimes I felt tired. Sometimes I felt invisible. But I pushed those feelings away. I believed that if I did everything right, if I sacrificed enough, my family would be happy, and that would be enough for me. At least, that is what I thought. My parents always had strong opinions about my life. They believed they knew what was best for me. Stability is important, my father often said. A safe job is better than a risky dream. My mother agreed with him. She talked a lot about responsibility, about marriage, about staying close to family. Think about us, she said. We need you. When they spoke like that, I felt guilty. Guilty for wanting something more. Guilty for thinking about myself. They asked me questions all the time. Why don't you apply for a better position here? Why do you need to change your life? Isn't this enough? I listened quietly. Even when their words hurt, I nodded. I did not argue. I did not explain my feelings. Saying no felt wrong. It felt selfish. My brother was younger. He was free to make his own choices. But I was the daughter, the responsible one. So I carried the weight, every expectation, every silent request. I told myself I was strong enough. I told myself this was what love looked like. But deep inside, a small part of me wondered how long I could live someone else's life. There was something I never talked about. A dream I kept hidden inside me for years. I wanted to study design. I loved drawing and creating things. When I was younger, I spent hours sketching in my notebook. It made me feel alive. I dreamed of joining a small design course in another city. It was not very expensive. It was not impossible. But it was far from home. I knew if I spoke about it, my parents would worry. They would say it was risky. They would say it was selfish. So I stayed quiet. At night, after everyone slept, I looked at design courses online. I imagined myself learning something new, meeting new people, becoming someone confident and independent. This dream was not about money. It was about freedom. It was about having something that belonged only to me. But every morning, I closed my laptop and returned to my routine. I told myself dreams can wait. Family comes first. Still, that dream stayed with me, soft but strong. It reminded me that there was more to life than being the responsible daughter. One evening, my parents called me to sit with them. Their faces looked serious. My father spoke first. "Your uncle is not well," he said. "He needs help with his business." My mother held my hand. "We were thinking," she said, "you should stay here and help more." My heart started beating fast. They talked about responsibilities, about family duty, about how much they needed me. "If you leave now," my mother said softly, "what will happen to us?" I wanted to tell them about my dream. I wanted to say how important it was to me, but the words did not come out. I saw fear in their eyes. I saw expectation. "Family comes first," my father said. "You understand that, do not you?" I nodded. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. My dream felt very far away. The next morning, I closed the website with the design course. I told myself, "I can do this later. I am doing this for my family." Saying those words made the pain easier, at least for a while. After that decision, my life changed quietly. Every day looked the same, but felt heavier. I went to work in the morning. In the evening, I helped my parents. I cooked meals. I made phone calls for my uncle's business. I handled paperwork. Everyone seemed relieved. My mother smiled more. My father worried less. They told people, "Nadia is very responsible." I smiled when they said that. But inside, something was missing. At night, when the house became quiet, I felt empty. I no longer opened design websites. I stopped drawing. My notebooks stayed closed. Sometimes I asked myself, is this my life now? I told myself to be patient. I told myself I was doing the right thing. My family needed me. That should have been enough. But slowly, I felt tired in a new way. Not physical tiredness, emotional tiredness. I gave my time. I gave my energy. I gave up my dream, and no one asked how I felt. That was when regret first knocked softly at my heart. As weeks passed, my sacrifice became normal. My parents expected my help. My uncle depended on me more. No one thanked me anymore. If I was late, they were annoyed. If I was tired, they said nothing. I realized something painful. They were used to me giving up things, used to me being there, used to me saying yes. I became invisible in my own home. At dinner, they talked about problems, about plans, about the future. But no one asked about my future. Sometimes I wanted to speak. I wanted to say, "I am tired. I feel lost." But I stayed silent. I did not want to seem ungrateful. I did not want to hurt them. So I smiled. I listened. I kept going. But the loneliness grew. Even surrounded by family, I felt alone. Late at night, I sat by the window and looked at the dark street. I wondered if this was what love was supposed to feel like. And for the first time, I asked myself a question I was afraid to answer. Who was taking care of me? One evening, I came home later than usual. I was tired. My head hurt. My body felt heavy. When I entered the kitchen, my parents were talking. My mother looked at me and said, "Why are you late? We were waiting." I explained that work was busy. My father sighed. "You need to manage your time better," he said. "We depend on you." Something inside me snapped. "I'm trying my best," I said softly, "but I'm tired." They looked surprised. "Tired?" my mother asked. "We are all tired. That's life." Her words hit me hard. I realized then that my feelings did not matter. Only my duties mattered. I felt tears in my eyes. "I gave up something important for this family," I said. "I gave up my dream." The room became silent. My father replied calmly, "No one forced you." That sentence broke me. I went to my room and closed the door. I sat on the bed and cried. For the first time, I asked myself an honest question. Why did I do this? And for whom? That night, I could not sleep. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. My father's words stayed in my mind. "No one forced you." He was right. No one asked me to give up my dream. No one told me to close that website. No one stopped me from choosing myself. I did it on my own, out of guilt, out of fear, out of love. I remember the design course, the drawings I used to make, the excitement I felt. I gave it up before anyone even said no. I thought sacrificing myself was the only way to be a good daughter. But now I saw the truth. I had erased myself to make others comfortable. I confused love with self-denial. That realization was painful, but it was also clear. I understood something important. If I did not speak for myself, no one else would. If I kept choosing silence, I would lose myself completely. That night, I made a quiet decision. I would stop living only for others, and for the first time in a long while, that thought gave me strength. The next evening, I asked my parents to sit with me. My hands were shaking, but my voice was calm. "I need to talk," I said. They looked surprised. I took a deep breath. "I love this family," I began, "and I will always care about you." They nodded. "But I need to talk about myself now," I continued. "I gave up something important, and I am not happy." My mother frowned. "We did not ask you to do that," she said. "I know," I replied, "but I did it because I felt pressure, because I felt guilty." My father looked uncomfortable. "Family makes sacrifices," he said. "Yes," I answered, "but sacrifice should not erase a person." The room became quiet. "I am tired of hiding my feelings," I said. "I am tired of pretending I am fine." My mother shook her head. "You are changing," she said. "Maybe," I replied calmly, "but I am not wrong." I did not raise my voice. I did not blame them. "I am going to choose something for myself now," I said. "I hope you can understand." They did not answer. But for the first time, I did not apologize. After that conversation, things were different. My parents were quiet. They spoke less. At meals, the room felt heavy. No one argued. No one smiled much. I felt scared. I wondered if I had done the wrong thing. At night, I questioned myself. What if I lose them? What if I am selfish? But something else was there too, relief. For the first time, I was honest. I no longer carried everything inside my chest. My parents were disappointed. I could feel it. But they were not angry. They were just adjusting to a version of me they did not expect. Choosing myself had a cost. It meant distance, silence, uncertainty, but it also brought peace. I could breathe again. I could look at myself without shame. I learned something important. Standing up for yourself is not easy. It can make people uncomfortable. But living without yourself is much harder. And even though I was afraid, I knew I had taken the right step. A few weeks later, I did something small but important. I opened my old notebook, the one where I used to draw. At first, my hand felt strange, like it had forgotten how to move. But slowly, I began to draw again. Simple lines, simple shapes. It felt good. I also searched for design courses again. This time, I looked for online classes, something I could do in the evenings. It felt safer, more realistic. I signed up quietly. I did not tell anyone at first. Learning again made me feel alive. Each lesson gave me confidence. Each small success reminded me who I was. I also started saving a little money, just for myself. I learned how to plan my time better, how to say, "I will help later," instead of saying yes to everything. Healing was slow. Some days were harder than others. But for the first time in a long while, I felt hope. I was not running away from my family. I was walking toward myself, and that made all the difference. As I grew stronger, my understanding changed. I realized something important. Love does not mean losing yourself. Caring for others should not mean hurting yourself. I learned about boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are lines that protect both sides. I could love my family and still have my own life. I could help them without carrying everything alone. When I spoke now, my voice was calm but clear. When something felt wrong, I said so. At first, it was uncomfortable, for them and for me. But slowly, things improved. My parents began to see me differently, not just as the responsible daughter, but as a person. I understood that my worth did not come from sacrifice. It came from honesty, from self-respect, from balance. I was still a daughter, still part of my family, but I was also myself. And that was something I would never give up again. Looking back, I understand my mistake clearly. I believed that loving my family meant giving up of myself completely. But sacrifice without boundaries leads to regret. Love should never erase who you are. It should not silence your dreams or make you feel invisible. Family is important. Care is important. But so is identity. When we ignore our own needs for too long, we slowly disappear. I learned that saying yes to everyone can mean saying no to yourself. True love allows space to grow. It respects limits. It listens. Choosing yourself does not mean you love others less. It means you respect yourself enough to live honestly, and that lesson changed my life. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, leave a comment, and share it with others learning English. Your support helps us create more emotional and meaningful stories to improve English listening and understanding. Subscribe to AcademiaBees for more English stories, graded readers, and listening practice. Remember, learning English through stories can be simple, powerful, and inspiring. See you in the next story.